Hi, my name is Racheal Longs, and I'm sitting down with Mr. Billy Todd, one of the owners of Iris Technologies, a small defense company here in Huntsville, Alabama, to gain more insight into what it takes to start your own business. Billy, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Sure, love to.
What would you say is the most important quality that someone desiring to start their own business should have? I know that you left behind a career as an attorney to start your own business,
Yes.
which is a very bold move. So
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what your feedback on this would be.
When I was a lawyer, I started to get bored with what I was doing. This is also true for my other partners when we started the company. This was back in 2000, we'll say it was 2010. We just weren't interested in what we were doing. It's very repetitive, not very intellectually stimulating, and there just wasn't much challenge there. And so each of us sort of arrived at this notion that the thing for us to do would be to go start our own company. For various reasons. A couple of my partners wanted to go do research where they could do what they wanted to do. I wanted to learn how to do new things in the field, and so we decided we would go take this risk. That is really the key. You asked what qualities does it take to go be somebody crazy enough to start their own business, and you can't do it unless you're willing to accept the risk of failure. That doesn't mean you have to accept failure. It doesn't mean that you have to be unafraid of failure, because if you're not afraid of failure, you will fail, right? But being able to get up every day knowing that you have employees who, if you don't do your job well, will lose their jobs and their health insurance and their kids will starve and all these things. If you can live with the risk that you will fail those people, you won't be able to survive as a business owner if you can't live with that risk. And that's a pretty critical thing. Being able to accept the fact that you might fail is fundamental to being a business owner. I think another thing is you've got to be able to be honest with yourself. In order to start your business, you don't have to do this, but in order for your business to survive, which is a key too, is you have to be able to admit to yourself when you've made a mistake. If you aren't willing to stare your mistakes in the face and say, no, I will not repeat that mistake, I have the intellectual honesty to acknowledge that I made an error. If you're not willing to acknowledge your own mistakes, you will repeat them and you will fail, right? And you will turn the risk of failure into the certainty of failure.
It's very insightful. And I know sometimes as human beings we get too caught up in following set rules that doesn't necessarily allow us to have our own fresh ideas.
Yes.
So my question for you is, what rules should we be breaking rather than following?
A former lawyer, my answer would be none of them, right? You should always obey the rules, but no good lawyer will tell you to do that. Rules are important. A good lawyer will advise you about risks, and the key to being a successful business owner is understanding that most of the rules that I think are sort of begging to be broken are, I'll say, the rules that aren't actually law, but are accepted customs, right? Understanding the reason for a rule is critical. If you understand the reason for a rule, then you know when that rule shouldn't apply. Knowing when it's safe to break a rule is a precondition. Allowing yourself to do it even when it's not safe, that's a different issue. That's a lot harder.
Well, thank you so much for your insightful answers. It's definitely reoriented my perspective on both the business world and leadership.
Wow, I'm happy to have helped.
And thank you for sitting down with me today.
Thanks, Rachel.